don't save in dollars, you're going to go broke. And they mask how easy it is to determine that, because we're told the dollar's only down 8% against the dollar index, a basket of crappy currencies. Measured against silver, it's down about 99%. And so when you talk about what is the better barometer, gold and silver are the barometers. Gold might be the best barometer, where the dollar's down 70+%, 75% against gold. Measuring against a basket of currencies, think of Triffin's dilemma, where every currency has to buy dollars in order to transact global business, at least for now, oil and whatnot. So all of these currencies sell their currency to buy ours, makes ours stronger in relation to theirs. That's why manufacturing flows to other countries. But same thing is true when you're measuring the value of the dollar against a basket of currencies that devalue their currency against ours. It's a stupid measuring stick. Bigger picture first. I mean, look, the trend is here. And the thing is, mainstream doesn't notice the trend. And I think maybe even the people who watch this show don't really realize how big the trend is. Over the last 10 years, price of gold has gone from 1,100 to 4,200. That's a 256% increase. And price of silver has moved from 13 to 57. That's a 315% increase. But I think the real trend right now is in deliveries, like we were talking about. Something big is happening on COMEX. I've been screaming that forever, right? And in the December contract, which went off the board 29th, a couple days after maybe the day after Thanksgiving. So far, over 10,000 COMEX silver futures contracts have stood for delivery. 10,000 at 5,000 ounces each. That's more than 50 million ounces of silver that have been taken off the exchange, including 565 contracts or 2.8 million ounces in a single day. So over 60% of the COMEX registered silver was claimed in just the first 4 days of trading in the 2025 December contract. The demand for physical metal is massively accelerating. This is not normal flow. This is institutional accumulation. And I think that this is something that cannot be overlooked. It really can't be. At the same time, you even have Reuters coming out and saying that the London silver tightness or the liquidity crisis is real. And it's happening. And so you're finding cracks within the system as you see massive shortness and demand for delivery. At the same time, you have countries like China and India and Saudi Arabia and Russia that have been accumulating silver, taking possession of silver and gold, reintegrating it into their system. We're seeing China, the second largest producer in the world, as I've said on your show a million times, they're going to Mexico and Peru and buying doré and concentrate before it even hits the market by buying this stuff in a pre-refined stage. So they're locking up supply at the source long before it has any chance of reaching the global exchanges. And so I think that this is putting huge stress on the market. Ultimately, will put massive stress on the market. And then you have the U.S. Department of Interior, who adds silver to the 2025 critical minerals list, as we've talked about. And in order to get on that list, by the way, the metal has to be essential to the economy or to national security. Should have a vulnerable supply chain and no easy substitute. So this creates strategic stockpiling demand, done again, and a structural tailwind for demand that's supported by national security and policy. And they should be worried about the supply chain and the geopolitical risk because the United States imports 2/3 of its silver. And, I was reading something the other day that blew my mind. It says AI data centers especially burn through silver. It says every server and power unit uses a little, but tens of thousands of machines lock up thousands of ounces permanently. And powering these centers is even more silver intensive. A 500 megawatt solar farm, enough for one major AI campus, can require up to 300 metric tons of silver, or 9 to 10 million ounces. So all of this is happening while the U.S. relies heavily on foreign silver, and physical metal is leaving the transparent markets. 75 million ounces have been pulled from COMEX since October. Moved to stronger hands. So, yeah, I think that, look, here's another one. 583 million paper ounces traded on Friday. That's 75% of annual global mine supply in one day. And the COMEX had 103 deliveries and the LBMA 553. So, it's getting crazy. In China on Friday, silver closed above $60 an ounce. And so, we keep seeing the price higher in China, which is kind of pulling the price along with it. I just think that things are beginning to really, really, really change. And now you got banks like UBS who are vocal saying that the 300 million ounce physical deficit, and we've been seeing that every year between 1 and 300 million ounces going on the 6th year in a row, is turning them bullish. And they recommend long positions in silver they've never have before. So, yeah, I think when you talk about central banks repatriating gold and all of the stuff we've been talking about, standing for delivery, sovereign wealth funds, commercial banks, huge deliveries, to me, what this boils down to is that it will ultimately trickle down into the retail market. And it hasn't yet, but it will. And when it does, it will happen very quickly. Things will just become very difficult to obtain. It doesn't happen at the highest levels and then just stop. I think you'll see it move down into the retail market. It's interesting because on just about everything but American products, premiums are as low as I've ever seen them. The American products, they seem to be going higher and higher. But you will find, I think, that what is a easy to get, flush, supplied, laden market in retail very quickly will change. Not there yet, but I think it will, based upon what we're seeing around the globe. The retail public is just more or less asleep, and that's the truth of it. So, yeah, I think there's great values everywhere. Maybe the best value I've ever seen in my career is pre-65 silver, ever. But short of that, anything that you're buying right now in this environment, when the smartest money in the world is doing the same thing, is all you need to know. That's where the value is. The people who are doing this, the central banks, the commercial banks, the sovereign wealth funds, and some massive traders here in the U.S. who this is what really pisses me off. Nobody in the mainstream media has asked the question, who's doing this? Or even alerting the public that billions upon billions upon billions upon billions upon billions have come in since November of last year. For the last year, we see these kinds of inflows where literally millions and millions of ounces of gold and silver are standing for delivery every month in New York. Why is no one asking who's doing this and what's behind it? Is that by design? I would argue probably is. But all you need to know is that I'm doing the research for you all so you can see it to be true. And when you see people at that level, they're the most well-informed traders in the world. They know what's coming. They don't do it for the hell of it. That's all you need to know, period. And here we are this month again, massive record deliveries. No one's asking. This is not a market it's reaching its limit or ending. When the most sophisticated traders in North America, a la the commercial banks, are going long and standing for delivery, who are being backed by someone big enough to where not even the media will talk about it? Is it the wink, wink, nod, nod Treasury Department? Is it the Exchange Stabilization Fund? How about Bo Hines? Bo Hines, the CEO of USA Tether, who was Trump's crypto czar, and Tether has $14 billion in gold, and buying gold with all of their excess reserves that they're getting through the issuance of stablecoins backed by treasuries, and the interest on those treasuries isn't transferable. Gold and silver are becoming far more valuable than the currency that stands behind it or that is used to purchase it. And I think that's all you need to know. So anything you're buying right now to get you out of the dollar into the trade that the biggest money in the world is doing,